delete her name. That was the order.
But the woman they tried to erase was already stepping into a storm. And before they knew it, she would uncover a secret powerful enough to shake the entire company.
12 a.m. The rain had just stopped. Vendors shouted across the roadside. Buses fought for passengers. Inside a small apartment, 27-year-old Adaeze Nwosu carefully ironed the only blazer she owned. The sleeve was slightly burnt. She turned it over and smiled. "No one will notice." Her younger brother laughed. "They'll notice." She threw a pillow at him. "You think you're funny?" "I know I am." Their laughter filled the tiny apartment. Then silence. Their eyes drifted toward the empty chair beside the dining table, the chair that had belonged to their mother. Almost 2 years had passed, yet it still felt strange eating without her. Adaeze quietly bowed her head. "Lord, you know why I need this job. Not because I want a big office, not because I want people to know my name. Just help me become someone who can help this family." Amen. 40 minutes later, she arrived at Harvest Alliance Group, one of the biggest agricultural companies in Nigeria. Inside the reception hall sat more than 80 applicants. Some revised interview notes, some prayed. Others boasted about connections they had not yet earned. A tall man wearing an expensive wristwatch leaned toward Adaeze. "First interview?" She nodded. He smiled proudly. "My uncle is on the board." "Oh, I already know I'm getting the job." Adaeze smiled politely. "I didn't come for the experience. I came for the opportunity." The man chuckled. "I like confidence." "It's not confidence," she said. "It's faith." Unknown to every applicant, the interview had already become an argument on the top floor. Inside the executive conference room, 3 directors studied the final shortlist. One director frowned. "Who is Adaeze Nwosu?" The HR director replied. "Highest assessment score, best analytical test, best ethics interview, excellent references." The man removed his glasses. "Delete her." The room became quiet. "She asks too many questions." "But that's exactly what analysts are supposed to do." The HR director said, "I don't care. Remove her and replace her with candidate 31. Another executive frowned. "But candidate 31 failed." "I know. He's also my nephew." Silence. No one argued until another voice entered the room. The chairman. "When did this company begin rewarding family connections over competence?" Every executive stood immediately. The chairman picked up Adaeze's file, read it, closed it, then looked directly at the director. "If she's the best candidate, she stays." He placed the file back on the table. "And if anyone here has a problem with merit, perhaps they shouldn't be working here." He walked out. The room remained silent long after he left. 2 weeks later, Adaeze received the email. "Congratulations," she screamed. Her brother rushed into the room. "What happened?" She handed him the phone. He read the email, then hugged her so tightly they fell onto the old couch laughing. That evening, they bought 1 bottle of malt, shared meat pie, and thanked God. It wasn't much, but it was the best celebration they could afford. Neither of them knew God wasn't just giving Adaeze a job. He was placing her in a position that would soon demand more courage than she ever imagined. 6 months later, Adaeze had become known throughout the company for one thing: accuracy. If she signed a report, people stopped checking it because everyone knew Adaeze never guessed. She verified. One Monday morning, as she entered the office, she noticed something unusual. Everyone was whispering. Phones kept buzzing. People gathered in small groups. "What happened?" she asked. A colleague looked around before answering. "You didn't hear?" "Hear what?" "The internal audit director resigned last night." Adaeze frowned. "Why?" The lady lowered her voice. "They say he found something he wasn't supposed to find." Before Adaeze could ask another question, an elderly office attendant appeared beside her. He had worked in the building longer than most executives. People called him Baba Musa. He handed Adaeze a plain brown envelope. No sender, no name. They said only you should open it. Adaeze looked confused. Who gave it to you? Baba Musa smiled. I've learned something after 35 years in this company. Sometimes the safest messenger is the one nobody notices. He walked away. Adaeze stared at the envelope. Across the front, only 4 handwritten words appeared. Don't trust anyone. Slowly, she opened it. Inside was a flash drive and one single photograph. The moment she turned it over, every color disappeared from her face, because the person in the picture was someone she trusted more than anyone in the company. Adaeze couldn't breathe. The man smiling in the picture was Chairman Samuel Adeyemi, the same man who had defended her during the interview. Standing beside him was another man whose face had been crossed out with a black marker. On the back of the photograph, someone had written, "One of these men is trying to save thousands. The other is trying to destroy them. Choose carefully." Adaeze looked around the office. Who had sent this? And why her? That evening, she plugged the flash drive into her laptop. It contained only one folder, Project Eden. Inside were dozens of files, land surveys, government approvals, maps, compensation lists, voice recordings. Everything looked legitimate, until she noticed something strange. Every document had 2 versions. One version was sent to the board. The other was hidden inside the archive. She compared them. Her stomach tightened. The board believed over 4,000 farming families would receive full compensation before construction began. The hidden documents told a different story. The compensation money had been quietly redirected through shell companies. Someone planned to seize the land, pay almost nothing, then disappear before anyone discovered the truth. Adaeze leaned back. "This isn't corruption," she whispered. "This is robbery." The next morning, she couldn't concentrate. During the staff meeting, everyone applauded as Chairman Samuel announced the company's biggest expansion in 20 years. People cheered, executives smiled, investors nodded proudly. Only Adaeze sat silently, because now she knew someone in that room was lying. As the meeting ended, a familiar voice called her. "Young lady?" She turned. It was Baba Musa. He held 2 cups of tea. "I thought you might need one." She accepted it. "Thank you." The old man smiled. "You've opened the envelope." It wasn't a question. She nodded. "You knew?" "I've been waiting to see if you would." "Who sent it?" He looked around before answering. Some questions keep people alive, others get them buried. Adaeze lowered her voice. "People could lose everything." "I know." "Then why isn't anyone speaking?" The old man sighed. "Because the last 3 people who tried never got the chance." Adaeze felt a chill run down her spine. What happened to them? One resigned, one disappeared, and one was found guilty of stealing money he never touched. She frowned. "He was framed?" Baba Musa nodded. "His name was cleared, but only after he died." That night, someone knocked on Adaeze's apartment door. 3 short knocks, then silence. Her younger brother looked through the window. "There's nobody outside?" Adaeze slowly opened the door. No one. Only a small envelope lay on the floor. Inside was a single memory card. No note, no sender. She inserted it into her phone. A video began to play. The footage was shaky, as though someone had been recording secretly. Inside a private conference room, several executives sat around a table. One voice said, "What if the board refuses?" Another answered calmly, "They won't." "And if someone leaks the documents?" A third voice laughed. "Then we destroy their credibility before they speak." The room chuckled. Then another voice spoke. Deep, calm, powerful. "If that fails, we destroy the person." Adaeze froze. She knew that voice. But before the camera turned toward the speaker, the video ended. The following day, she walked into the office pretending nothing had happened. As she reached her desk, her computer screen suddenly went black. Then white letters appeared. "We know what you found." Her heart raced. Another line appeared. "Delete everything." Then another. This is your only warning. The screen went dark. Seconds later, it returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. Adaeze quickly looked around. Everyone seemed busy. Nobody appeared to have noticed. Then she saw him. Across the office, one executive was watching her. The moment their eyes met, he smiled. Not warmly, not politely. It was the smile of someone letting her know the game had begun. Adaeze slowly closed her laptop. For the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of losing her job. She was afraid of discovering just how powerful the people behind this conspiracy really were. Adaeze didn't sleep that night. By dawn, she had made one decision. She wasn't going to run. If someone wanted to silence her, they would have to do it after she had spoken. At work, the atmosphere felt different. People who usually greeted her avoided eye contact. Conversation stopped whenever she walked past. Even the receptionist looked uneasy. Something was wrong. Very wrong. As Adaeze reached her desk, she found another envelope. This one wasn't brown. It was white. Inside was a single invitation. She frowned. Junior analysts were never invited. Never. Her phone rang. It was Human Resources. Congratulations, Adaeze. You've been selected to present the company's performance dashboard before the board. She blinked. Me? Yes, the chairman personally requested it. After the call ended, she whispered, Lord, what are you doing? That afternoon, she met Baba Musa in the basement archives. I've been invited to the board dinner, Adaeze said. Without looking up, Baba Musa replied, I know. She stared at him. You know everything, don't you? He laughed softly. No, I just pay attention. He became serious. Do you remember the story of Esther? Adaeze smiled. My mother read it to me every birthday. What do you remember most? She fasted before she acted. Baba Musa nodded. And she chose the right moment. He placed an old ledger on the shelf. Powerful people rarely lose because they're stronger. They lose because they become too comfortable. He looked directly into her eyes. Don't fight them on your timetable. Fight them on the timetable God opens. That evening, Adaeze got home and switched off her phone. She didn't call friends. She didn't watch television. She knelt beside her bed. Father, I'm afraid. Not because I might lose my job, but because I don't want to make the wrong move. If you've truly placed me here, show me when to speak, and give me courage when that moment comes. She stayed there until tears became peace. The next evening, the banquet hall glittered with chandeliers. Government officials, investors, board members, journalists, every influential person connected to Harvest Alliance sat around beautifully decorated tables. Soft music filled the room. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. Adaeze adjusted her dress. She felt out of place. Then she heard a familiar voice. You clean up well. She turned. It was the confident applicant from her interview months ago, the one who had bragged about his uncle. He smiled awkwardly. I never apologized. For what? For looking down on you. She smiled. It's all right. No. He shook his head. It isn't. He leaned closer. Please, if anything unusual happens tonight, leave immediately. Before she could ask why, he walked away. The chairman welcomed everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we celebrate another year of excellence. Applause echoed across the hall. After dinner, the presentations began. Department heads spoke, investors applauded, awards were presented. Then, ladies and gentlemen, our final presentation, Miss Adaeze Nwosu. The room applauded politely. Adaeze walked onto the stage. She connected her laptop. The company logo appeared. She began confidently. Sales, exports, growth, efficiency. Everything was going smoothly. Then she reached the final slide. She stopped. Silence. The chairman looked up. Is something wrong? Adaeze looked around the room. Every powerful person was there. She took a deep breath. I have one final report. It wasn't assigned to me. I found it. It concerns Project Eden. Across the room, one executive slowly put down his glass. Another shifted in his chair. A third reached for his phone. Adaeze noticed. So did the chairman. She clicked the remote. Instead of the next slide, the screen went black. Her laptop froze. Whispers spread across the hall. Then, from the back of the room, a calm voice broke the silence. Perhaps Miss Nwosu has confused tonight's celebration with a criminal investigation. A nervous laugh followed. The voice continued. If she has evidence, I'm sure she'll be happy to show it. Adaeze looked toward the speaker. Her blood ran cold. It was the company's chief legal officer, the very man responsible for protecting justice inside the company. He smiled confidently. Go ahead, we're listening. Adaeze looked at her frozen laptop, then into the crowd. For one terrifying second, she had nothing. No slides, no documents, no proof. Then she remembered the brown envelope, still inside her handbag. She slowly reached for it. The chief legal officer smiled. He thought she was defeated. He had no idea the real evidence had never been inside the computer. It had been with her the entire time. The hall was silent. Hundreds of eyes followed Adaeze as she reached into her handbag. The chief legal officer folded his arms and smiled. Miss Nwosu, unless that handbag contains an entire investigation, I suggest you sit down. A few people laughed. Adaeze didn't answer. She pulled out the brown envelope. Then she looked at the chairman. Sir, I respectfully request that you read this before I say another word. The chairman studied her face. He wasn't looking at the envelope. He was looking at her eyes, eyes that carried fear, but not dishonesty. He nodded. Bring it. The envelope was handed to him. He removed the documents one by one. His expression changed. The smile disappeared. He flipped through another page. Then another. The external auditor stood. Chairman, may I see those? Within seconds, the documents were passed around the table. Nobody spoke. The room became so quiet that the sound of pages turning echoed through the hall. Then one of the independent directors frowned. These signatures? He looked at the chief legal officer. They're yours. The lawyer forced a smile. Anyone can forge a signature. Another board member interrupted. What about these email records? And these bank transfers? The external auditor looked up. I've just confirmed the transaction codes. They're genuine. A murmur spread through the room. The chief legal officer's confidence began to crack. He stood. This is a misunderstanding. No. A calm voice came from the back of the hall. Everyone turned. Baba Musa slowly walked forward, still wearing his old maintenance uniform, still carrying the same faded ID card. People whispered, Why is the cleaner here? The chairman stood. Let him speak. Baba Musa looked around the room. For 35 years, I've watched people walk past me without seeing me. They spoke freely because they thought I was invisible. They discussed contracts while I swept floors. They planned meetings while I served tea. They confessed secrets while I fixed broken chairs. He looked at the chief legal officer. You forgot something. The people you ignore sometimes hear everything. The room fell silent. Baba Musa reached into his pocket. He placed a small digital recorder on the table. I started recording meetings after the internal audit director died. The chairman pressed play. The room filled with familiar voices. One voice said, The farmers will never understand the documents. Another laughed. They'll sign anything. Then came the final voice. Cold. Confident. If anyone gets in the way, we'll destroy their reputation before they can speak. It was unmistakable. The chief legal officer slowly sat down. He knew it was over. But then another voice came through the recording. One nobody expected. It belonged to the director who had tried to remove Adaeze's name during the interview. He said, We're going too far. This isn't business anymore. We're ruining innocent people. The room froze. The chairman looked around. Where is Director Amina? No one answered. A security officer rushed into the hall. Sir, Director Amina resigned 30 minutes ago. She left a letter. The chairman opened it. It read, I should have spoken months ago. I kept quiet because I was afraid. Fear made me part of the problem. I can no longer carry that guilt. Adaeze lowered her head. Sometimes the greatest tragedy isn't doing evil. It's watching evil happen and saying nothing. 3 months later, the government launched an investigation. The compensation money was recovered. Every farming family received what had been promised. The project still went ahead, but this time with justice. Harvest Alliance held another gathering, not to celebrate profits, but integrity. The chairman stood before every employee. There are people who chase positions, and there are people whom God places in positions. He looked toward Adaeze. When she joined this company, many people never noticed her. But when the moment came, she remembered that influence is not a privilege, it is a responsibility. The hall erupted in applause. Adaeze smiled, not because she had become famous, but because thousands of families would sleep peacefully that night. The Bible never says that Esther asked to become queen, but when the moment came, she understood that her position wasn't about comfort, it was about purpose. Like Esther, Adaeze could have remained silent. She could have protected her career. She could have convinced herself that someone else would speak. Instead, she chose courage, not because she wasn't afraid, but because she believed doing what was right mattered more than protecting herself. Sometimes, God places us in rooms we never expected to enter, not so people will admire us, but so we can stand up for those who have no voice. Perhaps you are in your school, your workplace, your church, or your community for such a time as this. Your greatest opportunity may not be the position God gives you. It may be the moment He asks you to use it.